I am standing inside a war room where no cameras are allowed. The engine noise outside is fading, but the tension inside is not. A legendary number sits on a whiteboard, unclaimed. A driver has just stepped away from it, and somewhere across the garage, a name nobody expected is climbing into a truck wearing the wrong colors. Nobody has said it out loud yet, but the decision is already being built, one lap at a time. Who is this driver, and why does an entire organization suddenly need to know his name? Alex Bowman has announced he will step away from full-time Cup Series racing after the 2027 season. Bowman confirmed the decision himself, describing it as a personal choice rather than a forced exit. He has driven the number 48 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports since 2018, taking over the car after Jimmy Johnson's own departure from full-time competition. Rick Hendrick responded publicly, calling Bowman family and praising his contributions to Hendrick Motorsports across nearly a decade with the organization. That respect, however, does not slow down what happens next in the garage. Bowman's exit does not just end an era, it opens one of the most valuable seats in NASCAR history, and every team with championship ambitions is already thinking about who fills it. The number 48 carries more than a car number. It carries Jimmy Johnson's 7 championships, a record matched by only one other driver in NASCAR history, along with dozens of race wins accumulated across nearly 2 decades at Hendrick Motorsports. Whoever inherits this seat does not simply get a ride. They inherit expectations built over 2 decades of sustained success at the sport's highest level. A driver who is not ready for that weight can be broken by it before he ever gets comfortable in it, and Hendrick's history shows the team does not hand this seat to just anyone. NASCAR Insider TV is closing in on 1,500 subscribers, and if you want to be part of that milestone, subscribing, liking, and sharing helps this channel keep breaking down stories like this one before anyone else does. At Richmond, Shane Van Gisbergen appeared in the number 7 Spire Motorsports truck backed by HendrickCars.com. HendrickCars.com is part of Hendrick Automotive Group, a separate entity from Hendrick Motorsports, though both operations trace back to the same Rick Hendrick, who built one of the most successful families in American motorsports and automotive retail. Fans watching the broadcast do not see that corporate distinction. What they see is Hendrick branding on a driver who races full-time for Trackhouse Racing in a Truck Series event that had nothing to do with the number 48 Cup Series seat. Was this a routine sponsorship arrangement? Or does it signal something bigger forming behind the scenes? Shane Van Gisbergen arrived in NASCAR as a 3-time Supercars champion from New Zealand, a series where he built a reputation as one of the most dominant road course drivers in the world. His 2023 Chicago Street Race win in his Cup Series debut shocked the paddock, making him the first driver in modern NASCAR history to win in his first career start. He built on that with an Xfinity Series development run before moving into full-time Cup competition with Trackhouse Racing. His 2025 season produced a breakout year, followed by a multi-year contract extension with Trackhouse that was announced to secure his future with the organization. He is not an improving gamble. He has already won at the highest level, and he has already shown he performs under pressure on unfamiliar tracks, even as questions remain about his consistency on traditional oval circuits. This cannot happen immediately. Van Gisbergen is reportedly under contract with Trackhouse Racing through at least 2027. A deal signed after his breakout performances proved his value across multiple race formats. Justin Marks and Trackhouse invested heavily in building him into a star, marketing him as the face of the organization's international expansion, and that investment was not made to hand him to a rival organization. If Hendrick wants him, the earliest realistic opportunity is 2028, which means every race between now and then becomes part of a much longer calculation stretching across multiple seasons. Reports have already linked Hendrick Motorsports to a different name for 2028, Connor Zilisch. This detail changes the entire narrative, because it suggests Van Gisbergen may not be the primary target at all. Justin Marks has publicly confirmed that Zilisch remains committed to Trackhouse through 2027, the same timeline attached to Van Gisbergen's contract. The irony is that Trackhouse insists both of its stars are locked in, yet speculation continues building around each of them separately. Hendrick now faces two conflicting philosophies inside the same decision. Does the organization choose a proven winner with questions about long-term physical demands, or does it choose a younger prospect who could anchor the team for a decade? Is experience worth more than a decade of untapped potential? Does Zillish's youth outweigh Van Gisbergen's proven race-winning results? Can Hendrick afford to wait until 2028 to find out which philosophy was correct? None of these questions have been answered, and the organization has not resolved which direction it prefers. Van Gisbergen's oval performances are becoming his real audition. At North Wilkesboro, he finished third in the Truck Series race and led 49 laps in the Cup Series event before finishing fifth, a result that surprised analysts who expected him to struggle on the short track's abrasive surface. Every remaining oval race on the schedule, including Richmond, Martinsville, Bristol, Kansas, and Las Vegas, now functions as additional evidence in an ongoing case that extends far beyond a single race weekend. If he continues closing the gap on ovals, the argument for his long-term value strengthens with every race, and any organization watching from the outside gains more reason to take notice. The theory has already spread beyond speculation and into open fan debate. Some fans have floated the idea that Hendrick could attempt to buy out Van Gisbergen's contract early. Skeptics push back by pointing out that he is already under contract with Trackhouse through 2027, calling the entire theory premature. Others have mocked the speculation by joking that broadcasters slid Shane in a Bowman costume during the Richmond appearance. What started as a sponsorship photo has turned into a full-blown argument across NASCAR's online fan community. Beneath the speculation sits a more complicated layer of manufacturer politics. Hendrick Motorsports, Trackhouse Racing, Spire Motorsports, and JR Motorsports are all aligned with Chevrolet, sharing technical resources and manufacturer support, even as they compete against each other every weekend. A move like this is not a simple call from one team to another. It involves sponsor overlap, manufacturer relationships, and competitive rivalry within the same brand family that has built its dominance on shared engineering data. The better Van Gisbergen performs, the more valuable he becomes, and the harder it becomes for any organization to pry him away from his current contract without disrupting relationships across the entire Chevrolet camp. Justin Marks now watches a championship-caliber driver appear in rival Chevrolet colors on a near-weekly basis, a pattern that began well before the Richmond appearance drew wider attention. Even if every appearance is contractually innocent, the optics alone create pressure inside Trackhouse organization, especially as fans and analysts continue connecting the dots publicly. If this pattern continues, Trackhouse may find itself defending its ownership of a driver it built from the ground up, rather than simply developing him for its own future on the track. This is a 2028 story being written 2 years in advance, long before any official announcement could realistically be made. Every oval race, every strong finish, every contract extension, and every incident between now and then becomes another data point feeding a decision that has not been made. Every appearance in Hendrick colors adds another layer to a theory that refuses to disappear, no matter how many times the sponsorship distinction gets explained. Is Rick Hendrick already building a future around Shane Van Gisbergen without ever saying his name publicly, or is the entire NASCAR world chasing a theory that was never real to begin with? If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next. Drop your take on whether Hendrick is really eyeing SVG in the comments below, and share this video with another NASCAR fan who needs to see where this story is heading.